award-winning Tennessee Wildcast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome again to this edition of Tennessee Wildcast. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for watching and listening. We're going to have a fun show for you today. Turkey season is right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Don King helped me co-host today.
You bet, Jason.
And we're excited.
I'm excited to have Logan in the house today as opposed to the Zoom thing. You know, we did that about this time last year, I think. And,
yeah.
But it was fun, but man, it's just so much better in person.
Yeah, Mr. Logan White from the Archery Den is with us today. Excited to have you. We're going to talk turkey hunting, one of his passions. Plus, he loves to hunt deer, elk, mule deer, all kinds of stuff.
All over the place.
We've been talking before the show. We got some stories to tell, but great to have you.
Yes, sir. Great to be here. Thank y'all for having me again. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah. So, we had a pandemic, and we're still kind of in that pandemic, I guess, but had them on Zoom, and that was a fun show, but it's better to be in person.
That's right.
We're keeping our distance here.
Absolutely. 6 foot.
Yeah. But anyway, Logan, tell us about the Archery Den. Tell us about yourself, and we'll introduce you to the folks listening and watching out there.
Yeah. So, my name's Logan White. I own the Archery Den in Franklin, Tennessee. I'm also a fireman in Spring Hill. Own a media company as well, 1% Media. I'm a father. I'm a husband. Those are my two, the biggest things I have in my life. I'm happy. I just try to be a good dad and a good husband.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, the Archery Den is located in Franklin, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's a pretty cool little shop you got there.
Man, we're a little shop, down and dirty bow hunting only. You're not going to find all the other gear. We're archery and archery only. I got a great tech, Matt Eddy, store manager in my tech, and then we got another employee, Audrey. She does. She has figured out how to tune arrows better than most guys.
Wow.
And other women I know.
All right.
She does all my arrow builds, so she's awesome. We are top 100 dealer in the world with Matthews. We have Prime, both here from America or the United States. So we're real happy with them. They're both great bows, and they sell themselves, really.
Got a nice range in the back, too,
yeah,
so that's really handy to have.
We got a 10-yard indoor testing range for guys who want to shoot the demos and come in and paper tune and that kind of thing. We can set you up back there, and we can help you out.
Yeah, if you hadn't seen the videos we did last year during deer season, we put together some archery tuning videos and getting your bow set up and all that fun stuff. We shot some video and got that posted out there last deer season at the shop, so that was awesome. That was fun.
That was a fun night.
And we got a lot of stuff out there for you. So if you didn't get to see that, go check it out. But yeah, so I mean, you got a lot of cool things going on. Like you said, I think that's awesome. Being a dad and a father and a husband is the number one there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's important.
And the shop is kind of in the same vicinity as the Williamson County Ag and Expo Center out there.
Yeah,
so
right across the street.
Kind of give you a visual of where the shop is.
Easy to find.
Yeah, and it's and the other range is right out there as well. The
state range, which is awesome. To have that right there.
Yeah. Just a couple blocks away from you guys.
Yeah, right. It's right across the street at the end of the Ag Center parking lot. Open from sun up till sundown. Free. The state owns it. No broadheads, please. And then it goes from 10 to 60. Park at the gate. Walk in and have fun, man.
Yeah.
So it's a great thing y'all have got there for us.
Yeah, that's cool. I know Mr. Don Crawford, put a lot into that.
He sure did.
A lot of other people have worked hard to get that going and in place. So that's cool. Well, it's turkey season. I wanted to remind people that the Young Sportsman Hunt this year is March 27, 28, so that'll be here before you know it. And then the shotgun archery season for everyone else is April 3rd through May 16th. So those are the dates this year. It'll be here. I mean, it's right around the corner. We're excited about it. I'll go ahead and just touch on the regulations so people remember it's changed a little bit. One bearded turkey per day, not to exceed 3 per season. It used to be 4, but now it's 3. Made a few adjustments, and then there's a few more things you have to think about in different counties down south, so Middle Tennessee. So just make sure you check your guide. That's on the website, tnwildlife.org. You can go check that out. or pick one of your guides up at the local store and flip the pages there. But always make sure you check your guide or download what, Don?
The app, the TWRA On The Go app.
Yeah.
And all that stuff's right there in your hand or your pocket.
That's a must-have.
Yeah.
That app's great. Check in, whatever. Look up the rules. I love that thing.
Tag before you drag. It's all right there in your hand.
I'm glad you said that because that's something that you have to do with turkeys.
That is, that's new now too.
Yeah.
So.
So tag before you drag. That goes for turkeys, deer, all your big game animals. So that's good.
It's a plus, and honestly, I like going down to 3. I wouldn't mind going down to 2 myself. I mean, especially down there in Middle Tennessee in the South, man. I had farms I used to have piles of turkeys on, and now we've got a few here and there.
Yeah.
So that ain't a bad rule to put into place.
Yeah. I think, it was a good move, and we'll see how it goes and can experiment there and see what needs to happen as we move forward. So
yep. That's
definitely.
Right.
Well, let's get into bow hunting for turkeys. That's why we're here today. Bring the Archery Den in, the experts that know all about it. Put you on the spot there, Logan. But you brought a few things in to show us, and let's just talk about how it's different. How it's different hunting a turkey with a bow than it is hunting with a gun, and how you do it. I mean, first, let's start with equipment. What would your choice be for a bow, and how are we going to set it up? And you brought a few with you if you want to show some.
I'm a compound guy, so this is a brand new bow. It's not set up or anything. This is going to be the Nexus Prime. But for me, the setup with archery equipment is a little bit different.
Yeah.
A lot of guys with archery are going to try to hunt them from a ground blind because turkeys, you're not going to get away with anything.
With drawing.
Right. Especially out in the open. I know a few guys that have done it. I got lucky and done it myself, but that was the way I set up. It's the only reason I got it done. I personally, there are a lot of guys and girls that change their bow setup a little bit. They may take the weight down, so drawing isn't quite a drastic move where it's a little bit smoother. I leave mine set up the exact same. I shoot 3D tournaments. I shoot deer. I shoot elk. I shoot mule deer. Whatever I'm shooting, I'm shooting with the exact same setup. For a turkey, you're like, why are you shooting the same bow? Yeah, it's going to be a little over the top, but I want to get used to that equipment.
Consistency, I guess.
Exactly. I don't want to have to change between seasons and re-sight in, because every little thing that you change on this is going to change the way that bow shoots, either up or down.
Okay.
Or some left and right, but for the most part, it's going to be an up and down change because let's say my elk arrow is 510.9 grains in total weight. If I go to a turkey arrow in the 3s, the bow's going to be super fast, so my arrow's going to hit a little high. Okay. So you're constantly going to be tinkering, and once we get my bow right and dialed in, I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
So I don't change anything. I know there are people that do. I don't.
That was my thought. I've never hunted turkeys with a bow, but I thought, well, if your draw is still the same, that's a lot of impact that you probably don't need. Or do you need it for a turkey? Do you need that hard of an impact?
I personally believe there's no such thing as too much impact.
Okay.
Let's
get her done.
Let's kill it.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you need it? No. Not trying to be a nerd, but it's like 46 square pounds of pressure to kill a whitetail. Okay. Right? So a 70-pound bow, depending on the arrow, obviously. The last one I did, 70-pound bow with the arrows we did the calculations on, it was 96 pounds. Okay. So there's plenty to kill that animal.
It's going to turn flips.
And way extra. Like I said, it's not a bad thing to change. I just don't like to change because I don't want to change my whole setup. Gotcha. I want to have one sight tape, everything ready to rock and roll, so I'm practicing shooting everything with the same bow. So I'm continually getting better at shooting the bow.
Yeah.
So
you talk about the ground blind. I'm sure it's I know it is. It's a lot harder to draw back sitting in a ground blind.
Yep.
So you need to practice that, right?
Sure.
Get used to that.
You've got to practice. Everybody wants to walk out to the range and shoot standing up. perfectly at the target.
Yeah.
That very rarely happens. Even like any type of hunting.
Even
So
a deer in a tree stand.
yeah, the way I'll practice shooting from my knees. I'll practice shooting out of a seat. I'll practice shooting elevated. Just getting prepared for any type situation. Here, you're East Tennessee, definitely. We have some hills, so you might get a little uphill, downhill shot. Not quite as bad as you would out west. So I practice those as well, the best I can. I mean, it's still kind of difficult to get that kind of terrain change, that elevation change up and down. But I practice for any type situation I may get in. Turkeys, elk, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to practice for sure. So let's touch on the other bow you brought, crossbow. So if you were gonna say you want to hunt with a crossbow, is there any other setup or any other thoughts on that?
A crossbow, you're not going to change the weight. The crossbow's set the way it's
going to stay the same. Yeah.
They're super fast. They're super friendly, easy to shoot.
See, and you may not need a ground blind with this one, right?
No, not necessarily. You can definitely get it done from the ground if you're set up right. That's going to be the key. And turkeys are so unpredictable, but if you have an idea of which way he may come in, I'm a little different. I like to set up behind trees. Okay. So this microphone would be a tree between the way that I feel that turkey or whatever's coming in. So when he comes to me, I can draw, and then I can just lean out, or I can wait till he passes and stick him when he passes.
Yeah.
That's how I've got it done with a bow out of a blind.
That's cool.
Completely lucky. So that's how I would set up with a bow outside of a blind or a crossbow. Crossbows are very deadly, very fast. A lot of people are going to them now that a bunch of states have got on board with the legalizing them. And there's nothing wrong with them. Just practice with them. They're not a rifle. They're not a shotgun.
Right.
So I tell anybody that comes in the store, you still need to practice, not just sight it in and put it up. We lose a lot more wildlife where I guide at with a crossbow than we do a regular bow. Farther shots, and sometimes these bows are so fast, sometimes you don't get proper broadhead deployment on a mechanical broadhead.
Okay.
I personally like a fixed blade broadhead out of a crossbow. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And we make crossbow shooters where I outfit in Kansas. We make them shoot a fixed blade broadhead out of a crossbow.
Okay. That makes sense because it's too fast for it to expand, or it's there before it's already before it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've had some good deer shot in Kansas with a crossbow, and when we finally find the deer, we can put that broadhead closed straight through the exit hole, and that exit hole should be the size of this microphone. It shouldn't be that small.
Yeah.
So crossbows are definitely awesome. I mean, a lot of guys shoot them. They kill a lot of wildlife. You just got to, in my opinion, get it sighted in with a field tip, and then tune it with your broadhead. And when I say tune it, it's a crossbow, so you're not really tuning it. You're re-sighting it in with a fixed blade broadhead.
Yeah.
That's just the way I tell guys at the store and the way I run my place in Kansas.
Yeah.
So,
well, with a crossbow, you've got some other advantages. I think you got that scope. There's a scope on that one you brought in today. That compact design of that one is amazing compared to some of those crossbows that the earlier ones for sure.
So that was a Matthews Missions crossbow, sub 1, extremely fast.
For those listening, it's only about maybe 16 inches wide at the widest.
It's a little bit smaller than that.
Smaller? 14, 15 maybe?
Yeah, and then when it's cocked, it's even smaller. So, but check your regs, because some places, some of these scopes and stuff you can buy now, they have electronics in them, they have magnification in them, and there are some states that you cannot run a magnifying scope on a crossbow, and they are hard to find. We had a customer come in on an elk hunt, he dropped it and broke it, or he fell and broke it. It took us forever to find a 1-power, non-adjustable crossbow scope.
Wow.
So just check your regs and make sure that you're right on what you've got and the equipment you're taking out.
Cool. Well, let's talk about the broadheads you brought. And if you can hold them up, people watching can see them on that camera there. But that's the fixed blade you talked about.
Yes, sir.
You prefer.
Yes, sir. This is a G5 Montec M3. It's solid. There's no vents in the blades.
Okay.
So it's a solid piece of metal, and it's all cut out of the same piece of metal. My favorite fixed blade broadhead. That's easily accessible and price friendly. Solid. They're going to shoot a little different than your field tip. So when you get broadheads, you need to take one. You need to go shoot it just to make sure, okay, it's low left, and readjust to that broadhead. You have to. Because they're going to shoot a little different, especially a fixed blade. That's why people don't use fixed blades like they used to when Muzzy and all those were, because there is a little extra work into it. They don't fly quite as good as a field tip. So that's why we definitely sell 7-to-1 on the mechanicals compared to the fixed blade, but that's why.
Well, show us a few of those. You brought a couple different models in here.
Yep. This is a Rage hypodermic. It's a 2-blade, so there's two blades that deploy on impact. Okay. So when it hits, when it's flying, it looks like this.
Right.
As soon as it hits, it looks like this. The bigger, open, nasty cut in diameter, big hole, good blood trail, where the fixed blade, it's a lot smaller cut in diameter, right?
Okay, yeah.
But the thing about mechanical, hold on, we'll go back to that.
Sure.
This is a 4-blade broadhead. Okay. It's a True Glow. I personally shoot whitetail, antelope, that kind of thing with these turkeys. I really like this broadhead. I've killed a few animals with them, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It does its job. But a fixed blade and a mechanical is going to give you a lot bigger cutting diameter for sure. But a fixed blade is going to be stronger. So on big game animals, me personally, mule deer and up, I shoot a fixed blade broadhead. The blades are thicker. It's solid. It can cut through bone, bust through bone. It can get through all the hide and the fat really well. So there's definitely pros to both, and there's cons to both.
So whether it's a crossbow or a compound, you're going to shoot the fixed blade when it comes to those larger animals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yep.
So on a turkey, we got one there behind you, and we'll try to point out some spots. But where would you place a shot on a turkey and to be successful? Because, I mean, with a shotgun, you're shooting at the head.
Yeah.
And that's how you kill them normally. But it's a lot harder to hit that with a bow.
Yes, for sure. Because one thing, the turkey's head never stops moving the whole time.
Right.
That thing's just going and going and going. So with a shotgun, you got a little more pellets out there.
Yeah.
But on a turkey, in the perfect world, he's broadside, standing up. First off, if he's in strut, let him shake out. Just let him come out of strut.
Okay.
And shoot him when he's down. Like, shoot him when he's out of strut. Strut can change the way your landmark on that bird looks. It hasn't changed its location. That wing bone and the body is still connected in the same spot, but it looks like it's in a different area.
Right.
So you're going to miss those vitals.
I could see that when they blow up. You know, they've got
right.
Yeah.
So on a turkey broadside shot, this bird's standing up right, about 2 inches above the leg. Those vitals are going to sit low. So when that bird's standing up, got the head way up here, and the neck comes down the body.
Okay.
So where those legs come up and those wings are attached right above that leg, that's where you want to shoot.
Okay.
That is a good shot. That's your best shot on a turkey. But on a turkey, you have some other shot opportunities where you might not have them on other game. If that bird, for me on big game, quartering away and broadside are my two shots. that's what I'm going to go for every time.
For deer or elk or something like that. Yeah.
On a turkey, you've got a few more options because A, it's not as thick. B, it doesn't have the skeleton and the hide and the fat that those big game have.
Okay.
So on a turkey, if he's coming straight on, if he's coming straight at your face, you can shoot him right above where the beard joins the body. So right here, to both sides of that beard,
Okay.
you've got a decent shot. It's going to break his neck, clog him up. You got a good shot.
Is that a chance of cutting your beard off?
Oh, yeah. It happens. It definitely happens. And then the other shot that you can have that people that I'm okay with taking, it'll kill him. It's a good shot. When he is walking, not in strut, dead away from you, you can see a good line coming straight up his back.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you have the shot, you can shoot that, because if you're in a chair in a ground blind, you're going to be a little above him. So that arrow is going to be flying in a little bit
Slide
downward
angle.
motion.
Yeah.
And if you come in right there in the center of his back, you'll break his spine, and that arrow is going to go into the cavity and take care of business. What happens on a turkey, and why a lot of guys lose a turkey, on a broadside shot, they're above it. The vitals on that bird are so low. Literally they're right above the legs.
Okay.
So you really sink that arrow down in there. If you're a hair below where that wing bone joins the body, you should be in the money.
Yeah.
So,
and that's a tight window.
it is.
That's that's even a tough shot, I would say, is trying to hit the head, because the vitals it's a tight spot.
oh yeah.
But it just doesn't move quite as much.
Right.
You're saying the head's bobbing around.
Yeah. No, of course, like we talked about before the show, the headshot is cool. It
Yeah.
makes for a great video footage, but
Slow motion.
your safest bet, in my opinion, is going to be a vitals down in the body shot. Just it's down there. It's low. Just keep that in mind.
Well, I think that covers the arrows. That's awesome. I think those mechanical ones are cool, and they're going to really do the job on a turkey, I would say, too.
Yeah.
I think you'd be okay either way, wouldn't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Because it's, anyway. So set up in the woods. I'm thinking, we talked about it a little bit, but with a gun, you can pretty much run a gun,
Right.
get set up, get behind some brush or something.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit harder with a bow. What would you suggest? And we've talked a little bit about it, but just a little bit more in depth on how you'd get set up with a bow.
If you're not using a ground blind in the woods, you got to keep the cover between you and the bird. When I shot mine in the woods with a bow, he was coming down a fence row. I was calling him. I was set up behind a big, huge oak tree. So the field and the fence row is you. This mic's my oak tree. And I'm sitting like this, just waiting on him to ease down.
Yeah.
Now, I'd already been busted twice this same morning by Jakes, okay? And I just wanted to kill one with a bow, so I was going to shoot Jake. I didn't care. So he's coming along, and he's in and out of strut. He's gobbling. He's doing it. And I'm like, man, if I can get this killed. He walks behind the tree. When he goes behind the tree, I draw. My decoy was set up over here, so he had to cross me to get to the decoy.
Perfect spot then.
Yeah. When he came past the tree, I was drawn, and you would have thought I killed a 180 whitetail. I was so excited. But I like objects between where that bird is, where I think that bird's going to go.
Yeah.
And kind of like whitetail hunting. Draw with an object between you and that bird if you're going to run and gun them.
Yeah, I can see that. That's pretty neat, using that to your advantage. You can kind of peek around it and use it in between times. That's neat.
You mentioned a decoy. I was curious what your thoughts are on decoys.
I very rarely use them.
Okay. That's the same thing I've heard quite frequently.
Actually, if I'm hunting the timber, you'll probably never see me put one out. If I'm hunting a field, I might put one out. Mm-hmm. And then the other time that I may put one out is if I've hunted the same gobbler for a couple days, I know it's the same gobbler, and he's just not doing it. I might put a Jake, and I may not even hit a hen call. I may put a Jake out and Jake gobble at him and see what he does. If he's not doing it with a hen call, then I'm going to try to get a little more aggressive and go to, hey, man, there's another dude in here wanting to get with your ladies. Like, come and whoop him. And sometimes that works. And then there's been times where I've killed them not even making a call. That's
like, my next question. Do you call often, or do you wait? You try, set it out?
I am a firm believer you can overcall a turkey. There are some guys that kill turkeys all the time and constantly call at them. I was taught how to turkey hunt by a guy named Dan Faulkner in Chattanooga, old school turkey hunter, and he threatened to take my calls a few times. So I learned from him, and honestly, he's one of the best turkey hunters I know, honestly. First bird I ever shot with him, he called at him one time, just a little tree yelp, and when I seen that, I was like, well, I don't need to call 1,000 times.
Yeah, right.
So, but no, I do not call a lot, man. I have them with me, but I don't call like some people do.
That's cool. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. We've done a series with Matt Dale Outdoors. I don't know if you're familiar with Matt Dale, but he came on and did a virtual series with us, and he said some of the same things.
Right.
So that's cool that it's pretty consistent. That's a good tip.
The biggest bird I ever shot had 8 beards, and it was in Murray County, and they didn't gobble one time that morning. And I knew there was a couple in there, never gobbled.
Wow.
I sat on this logging road, and I called 4 to 5 yelps every 45 minutes, and at 10 o'clock he walked by me and shot him. So
they'll sneak in on you.
Yeah,
you don't hear them coming. Well, this has been fun. I think a lot of good information.
Yeah.
Crossbow, compound, doesn't matter.
Sure.
You're not going to adjust the weight. Just keep be consistent.
Right.
Make a good choice on a broadhead. You should be successful this turkey
That's
season.
right. Hey, about the Governor's One Shot.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. The Governor's One Shot has been backed up a week because of Easter, so make sure you check your calendar. 9th and 10th, I believe, is that Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
I'll look at my calendar just to make sure.
Weekend after opening weekend.
That's it. Yeah, April 9th and 10th, that weekend, so the hunt will be on the 10th, I guess.
Okay.
But anyway, check your calendar if you're going to be a part of that, just to let you know that. And Logan, I appreciate you.
Yeah, man, I had a blast, as always. Look forward to coming back. It's fun.
Yeah. Turkey season is here, so get out there, buy your license, visit GoOutdoorsTennessee.com, or download the app, get your license, and get out there and enjoy the great outdoors. We thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee Wildcast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.